What's the dumbest way you accidentally started a school trend? I wore my shirt inside out by mistake and somehow convinced half my school that it was a protest against fast fashion. It was a Monday morning in October, and I was running late because my alarm didn't go off. I grabbed the first clean shirt I could find in my laundry basket and threw it on while rushing to catch the bus. I didn't even notice anything was wrong until third period when my friend Maya leaned over and whispered, "Dude, your shirt is inside out. All the seams are showing." I looked down, and sure enough, there were all these exposed stitches, and the tag was sticking out at my neck. I was mortified. But before I could figure out how to fix it without taking my shirt off in class, this girl named Ashley, who sat behind me, tapped my shoulder. "I love your shirt," she said quietly. "Is that some kind of statement about showing the hidden labor in clothing manufacturing?" I had no idea what she was talking about, but I was too embarrassed to admit I'd just gotten dressed in the dark. "Yeah, exactly," I mumbled back. Ashley's eyes lit up. "That's so deep. You're like exposing the unseen work that goes into our clothes. It's brilliant." Word spread fast. By lunch, 3 people asked me where they could buy shirts like mine. I kept having to make up explanations on the spot. "It's about transparency in the fashion industry," I told one kid. "You're supposed to see all the construction that usually gets hidden. It represents how we should turn our consumption habits inside out," I explained to another group. The whole thing spiraled completely out of control. By the end of the week, at least 30 kids were wearing their shirts inside out. They called it the Truth Movement because we were supposedly revealing the truth about how clothes were made. People started posting about it on social media with hashtags like Truthwear and Inside Out Challenge. Some girl named Bella made a whole TikTok explaining how wearing clothes inside out was a form of activism against exploitative labor practices in clothing factories. The principal, Mrs. Garcia, called me into her office on Friday. I thought I was in trouble, but instead she said, "I wanted to commend you for starting such a thoughtful movement. It's wonderful to see students engaging with social justice issues." I just nodded and tried to look wise while internally panicking. The whole school thought I was some kind of activist genius, and I was just a kid who couldn't dress himself properly in the morning. Things got even weirder when the local news picked up the story. A reporter showed up at school and interviewed me about my innovative protest method. I had to stand there with a straight face while she asked me questions like, "What inspired you to use fashion as a vehicle for social change?" "Sometimes the most powerful statements come from the simplest actions," I said, trying to sound profound. I'd been watching a lot of documentaries to keep up with the movement I'd accidentally created. The trend lasted almost 3 months. Kids from other schools started doing it too. There were Instagram accounts dedicated to inside-out outfit photos. Someone even started selling shirts that were designed to look good inside out, which completely missed the point of what people thought my original message was. The funniest part was when my mom found out. She saw me on the news and called me at school, completely confused. "Honey, why are you on TV talking about labor rights? And why is your shirt inside out?" I had to explain the whole situation to her that night. She laughed so hard she cried. "So you're telling me that you became a famous activist because you got dressed in the dark?" The trend finally died out when winter came and people realized that wearing sweaters inside out was extremely uncomfortable. All those scratchy seams rubbing against your skin made it impossible to focus in class. But even now, 2 years later, people still remember me as the kid who started the Truth Movement. I have classmates who genuinely think I'm passionate about ethical fashion. Some of them still ask me for advice about sustainable clothing brands. I've never had the heart to tell them the truth. Sometimes when I see kids struggling to start conversations about things they care about, I think about how I accidentally became the voice of a movement just by being too sleepy to get dressed properly. The weirdest part is that I actually did learn a lot about labor practices in the fashion industry after having to fake my way through all those interviews. I ended up genuinely caring about the issues people thought I was protesting. Last month, I applied to college with an essay about how sometimes the most meaningful changes start with the smallest, most unintentional actions. I got accepted early admission. I guess sometimes being a fraud accidentally makes you real.